In August 479 BCE, the bodies are still fresh. The sun rises over Plataea, a nothing town in central Greece, and the light reveals something impossible. 31,000 dead men lie tangled in the dirt, Persians mostly, their silk robes soaked black with blood, but that's not the impossible part. The impossible part is the 10,000 Spartans standing among them. Not 300, 10,000. You need to understand what this means. For a year, the Spartans have watched Greece burn. For a year, they've stayed behind their wall, protecting only themselves. While Athens evacuated, while Thebes surrendered, while Persian cavalry rode through olive groves and torched temples that had stood for centuries. The Spartans, the warriors every Greek child is taught to worship, did nothing. Their king is dead. Leonidas and his 300 fell at Thermopylae, buying time Greece couldn't use. His body was crucified, his head mounted on a spike. The Persians paraded it through their camp like a trophy, and still the Spartans waited. But now they're here, all of them. Every able-bodied warrior Sparta can muster, along with 5,000 of their helot slaves armed for war, something they swore they'd never do. They've marched out from behind their precious wall, left their city virtually defenseless, and thrown everything into one battle against the largest army ever assembled in Europe. Why now? Why, after a year of cowardice, do they suddenly risk everything? What changed? What could make the most conservative military culture on Earth abandon caution and bet their entire civilization on a single day of violence? And what kind of rage drives men to butcher 31,000 enemies in a battle that should have ended hours ago? The answer lies not in strategy or tactics. It lies in something deeper, in honor twisted by guilt, in grief that turned to poison, in the terrible mathematics of revenge. This is the story of what happens when Sparta stops calculating and starts hating. When the most disciplined warriors in the ancient world lose their discipline. When 300 deaths demand payment in thousands. Before we continue this journey into one of history's bloodiest acts of vengeance, if you find value in uncovering these forgotten corners of history, consider hitting that like button. It helps others discover these stories. And subscribe to join us as we explore the moments that shaped our world, told not as dry facts, but as the human dramas they truly were. Now, let me tell you where this story begins. Greece in 480 BCE is not the unified nation of your history textbooks. It's a fractured collection of city-states that hate each other almost as much as they fear Persia. The land itself makes unity impossible. Mountain ranges divide valleys into isolated pockets. Travel between cities requires days of dangerous hiking through terrain perfect for ambush. Each valley develops its own dialect, its own gods, its own way of doing things. Athens and Sparta are only 150 miles apart, the distance from New York to Philadelphia, but they might as well be on different continents. And into this broken landscape comes Xerxes, with the largest invasion force the Mediterranean has ever seen. Modern estimates suggest 120,000 soldiers, but the Greeks believe it's 1 million. The numbers don't matter. What matters is this: Persia has more men than Greece has citizens. The Persian strategy is elegant. They'll march down from the north, absorbing or destroying each city-state one by one. Most will surrender without a fight. A few will resist and be crushed as examples. Within a year, Greece will be a Persian province, and Europe's history will be written in Aramaic instead of Greek. Against this, Greece can muster perhaps 40,000 warriors total, if every city contributes, but they won't. Thebes is already negotiating surrender. Argos is staying neutral. Dozens of smaller cities are hedging their bets, waiting to see who wins before committing. This leaves Athens and Sparta to save civilization, and they hate each other. Athens is democracy, philosophy, trade, and innovation. Everything is debated, questioned, reimagined. Citizens vote on whether to go to war. They vote on strategies. They vote on commanders. It's chaotic, inefficient, and occasionally brilliant. Sparta is none of these things. Sparta is a military monastery disguised as a city. Boys are taken from their mothers at 7 and trained to endure pain, follow orders, and kill efficiently. They learn to read and write just enough to understand commands. Everything else is weakness. The Spartan economy runs on helot slavery. Subjugated Greeks who outnumber their masters 7-1 and are kept obedient through annual ritualized terror. Every autumn, Spartan warriors are legally permitted to murder helots without consequence. It's called the Crypteia, and it serves a purpose, reminding the slaves who can kill them at any moment. This system makes Sparta powerful but paralyzed. They can't send their army far from home because the helots might revolt. They can't accept foreign alliances because outsiders might spread dangerous ideas. They can't innovate because tradition is sacred. They are the greatest warriors on earth, trapped by the very system that made them great. And now comes the crisis. Xerxes is marching, Athens is begging for help, and Sparta is celebrating a religious festival that conveniently prevents them from marching to war, the Carneia, sacred to Apollo. 10 days of ceremonies. Fighting during this time would anger the gods. It's the perfect excuse. The Athenians hear it and understand immediately what it really means. Sparta will help only if helping is convenient, if it's safe, if it doesn't require real sacrifice. So Athens fights alone at Marathon in 490 BCE and wins against impossible odds. 10,000 Greeks defeat perhaps 25,000 Persians. It's glorious, it's unexpected, and it plants a seed of resentment that will grow for a decade because Sparta missed it. They arrived after the battle, examined the Persian corpses with professional interest, complimented the Athenian tactics, and went home. No blood spilled, no risk taken, no glory earned. The Athenians remember this. 10 years later, Xerxes returns with an army that makes Marathon look like a border skirmish. This time, Athens evacuates its entire population, men, women, children, slaves, onto ships and watches from the water as Persian soldiers turn their city into ash. The temples burn, the houses burn. The olive groves that took generations to grow are systematically destroyed. And Sparta sends 300 men, not 300,000, not 30,000, 300, led by King Leonidas, sent to hold a mountain pass called Thermopylae, while the main Spartan army celebrates another convenient religious festival. Everyone knows what this means. 300 men cannot hold back 100,000. This is theater, symbolic resistance, a gesture the Spartans can point to later when they explain why they didn't really help. Except Leonidas and his 300 don't treat it as theater. They treat it as war. The pass at Thermopylae is 15 feet wide, where it narrows between mountain and sea. Cliffs on one side, crashing waves on the other, one road through. Leonidas understands immediately what this geography means. The Persians can't use their numbers, can't flank, can't surround. They'll have to come straight at him, just a few men wide, climbing over their own dead. For 2 days, it works. The Persians send their best troops, the Medes first, then the Scythians, then the Immortals themselves, Xerxes' personal guard. Waves of soldiers, fresh and rested, attacking men who haven't slept in 48 hours. The Spartans cut them down. They use longer spears, 8 feet instead of 6, and superior training. A Persian soldier gets perhaps 6 months of training before he's sent to war. A Spartan trains for 20 years. The math is brutal. Every time the Persians mass for an attack, they lose hundreds. The Spartans lose dozens. Bodies pile up in the pass until they have to stop fighting to drag corpses aside and clear space for the next wave. On the morning of the third day, the Spartans learn they've been betrayed. A local Greek named Ephialtes has shown the Persians a mountain path around the pass. By dawn, the Immortals will be behind them. Leonidas could retreat. His allies beg him to. But retreat means admitting that Sparta's commitment was always fake. It means proving that 300 men really was just a gesture, and something in Leonidas, pride or spite, or maybe genuine honor, won't allow it. He sends the allies away, keeps his 300, and adds 700 Thespians who refuse to abandon them. The last stand happens fast. The Persians hit them from both sides. No clever tactics now, no narrow pass advantage, just close quarter butchery. The Spartans fight with spears until they break, then swords until those break, then with fists and teeth and stones. When it ends, all 300 are dead. The 700 Thespians, too. The Persians lose perhaps 2,000 men. Xerxes, enraged by the casualties, orders Leonidas's body found. They crucify it, cut off his head, mount it on a spear, and parade it through the camp. It's an insult beyond insult, desecration of a king's corpse, the worst sacrilege Persian culture knows to inflict. Back in Sparta, the news arrives like a physical blow. Not the death. Death in battle is expected, honored, desired. The desecration, the humiliation, their king's head displayed like the hunting trophy. And then comes the second blow. Athens falls. The Persians burn the Acropolis. The Parthenon, one of the most sacred sites in Greece, is smashed to rubble and set ablaze. Smoke visible for miles. Sparta does nothing. They fall back behind the isthmus wall, a fortification across the narrow neck of the Peloponnese. Everything north of this wall is abandoned. The Athenians, watching from their ships, understand the message clearly. Sparta will defend Sparta. The rest of Greece can burn. Except the Athenians have a fleet, 300 warships, and they make Sparta an offer that's really a threat. Help us fight on land, or we'll sail to Italy and found a new Athens there. Then you can face Persia alone. The Spartans do the math. Without Athens' fleet, Persia can land troops anywhere on the coast. Their wall becomes useless. Their defensive strategy collapses. In the summer of 479 BCE, Sparta does something it hasn't done in a generation. It mobilizes everything. Every able-bodied warrior, 5,000 helots armed and promised freedom if they fight well. Allied contingents from across the Peloponnese, 38,000 men total, the largest army Sparta has ever fielded. They march north under a new king, Pausanias, nephew of dead Leonidas. He's young, mid-20s at most, and untested in major command, but he carries his uncle's name like a weapon. The message to the rest of Greece is clear. Sparta is done calculating, done protecting only itself. This time, they'll commit everything. But there's something else in this commitment, something darker than strategy. In the private conversations among these Spartan officers, in the speeches Pausanias gives to rally his men, one theme recurs: debt. 300 of their brothers died buying time Greece squandered. Their king's body was desecrated. The shame of that moment, of arriving late, of doing too little, has festered for a year. Now comes the payment. Not in discipline or tactics or measured violence. In rage, in the kind of revenge that doesn't stop when the enemy surrenders. August 479 BCE. The armies converge near Plataea, a small city in Boeotia that becomes important simply by being where everyone arrives. The Persian commander is Mardonius, Xerxes' cousin. The great king himself sailed home after the naval disaster at Salamis, but he left his best general and 120,000 soldiers to finish the job. Mardonius has spent the winter trying to bribe Athens into switching sides. When that failed, he burned their evacuated city again, thoroughly this time, knocking down even the rubble. He positions his massive army on the northern bank of the Asopus River. Flat ground, perfect for cavalry. His horsemen outnumber the Greek cavalry 20-1. He expects to fight the way Persians always fight. Cavalry harassment wearing down the enemy, then infantry assault against exhausted, disordered troops. The Greeks assemble on the slopes south of the river. 38,000 Spartans and Peloponnesian allies on the right wing. The position of honor in Greek formations, 8,000 Athenians on the left, various contingents of dubious loyalty in the center. For 8 days, nothing happens. The armies stare at each other across the river. Persian cavalry makes probing attacks. Greek hoplites hold their ground. Skirmishers trade arrows, the rituals of formal warfare. But something is wrong. Pausanias, the young Spartan king, should advance. The Greeks are outnumbered and short on supplies. Every day they wait, more cities switch to Persia's side. Athens sent frantic messages. Attack now. Pausanias refuses. He's waiting for omens from the sacrifice. Every morning, priests cut open animals and examine the entrails. Every morning, the omens say, "Do not advance, do not attack, defense only." The Athenians suspect this is cowardice disguised as piety. Another Spartan delay, another convenient excuse. The whispers spread through camp. Sparta hasn't changed. They'll wait until the Persians leave or the alliance collapses, then go home having risked nothing. But something else is happening. Something the Athenians can't see because they don't know how Spartans think. The omens forbid advancing. Fine. Pausanias doesn't need to advance. He needs Mardonius to attack him. And he's methodically creating conditions that make that inevitable. On the 9th day, Persian cavalry overruns a Greek supply convoy. On the 10th, they destroy the spring the Greeks were using for water. The Greek position becomes untenable. They'll have to move. Pausanias orders a night withdrawal to a position closer to Plataea, where there's water and better defensive ground. It should be a coordinated maneuver, everyone moving together under cover of darkness. Instead, it's chaos. The center contingents retreat too early, falling back all the way to Plataea's walls. The Athenians move but maintain formation, and the Spartans, 10,000 warriors who pride themselves on discipline, barely move at all. As dawn breaks, Mardonius looks across the valley and sees Greek armies scattered, divided, vulnerable. The Spartans are isolated, the perfect target. After 10 days of waiting, here's the decisive moment handed to him. He gives the order every Persian has been waiting for: attack. The Persian cavalry hits first, 2,000 horsemen in formation, thundering across the river toward the Spartan position. Behind them come 40,000 infantry, Persians, Medes, Bactrians, Indians, a dozen nations unified under one banner. The Spartans form up in their classic phalanx, 8 men deep, shields locked, spears at the ready. They've drilled this formation since childhood. It's their religion, but they don't advance. Pausanias has them wait, still watching the sacrifices. The Persian cavalry crashes into them and breaks like a wave on rock. Spartans don't chase, don't break formation. Another wave, another repulse. The cavalry exhausts itself against shields and discipline. Then comes the infantry. 40,000 soldiers against 10,000, and still Pausanias doesn't move. The priests are still reading omens from animal guts, while arrows darken the sky. The Persians have lighter armor, shorter spears, wicker shields. In open battle, this doesn't matter. They win through numbers and cavalry support. But the ground near the Spartan position is broken and rocky, bad terrain for massed formations, and the Persian cavalry is blown, reforming for another charge. The moment the omens turn favorable, Pausanias doesn't give a speech. He doesn't need to. He just starts walking forward, and 10,000 Spartans follow. They don't run. They walk, shields locked, spear points steady, as disciplined as a religious procession. The Persian arrows hit them, thudding into wood, glancing off bronze, occasionally finding flesh. Men fall. The formation closes. They keep walking. When they hit the Persian line, it's not like cavalry hitting cavalry, or skirmishers trading blows. It's physics. Mass times velocity equals force, and Spartan phalanxes are designed to maximize both. The Persian front line disintegrates. The second line tries to hold. The third line pushes forward, jamming soldiers so tight they can't use their weapons. The Spartans just grind forward, shoving with shields, stabbing with spears, stepping over bodies. Mardonius sees his center collapsing and does exactly what he shouldn't. He leads his personal guard, 1,000 Persian cavalry, the elite of the elite, straight at the Spartan king. It's the kind of heroic gesture that works in Persian epic poetry. The general leads from the front, rallies his men, turns the tide through personal valor. Except Spartans don't care about your personal valor. They care about formation and discipline and the man fighting next to you. Mardonius's horse is killed. He falls. Before he can rise, Spartan spears find him. A dozen thrusts, any one fatal. The commander of the Persian army dies in the dirt, trampled by his own panicking cavalry. His death breaks something in the Persian army. Not morale. Morale was already shaky. structure, the thousand smaller decisions that keep an army functioning. Mardonius was the authority. Without him, there's no unified command. The retreat begins as a tactical withdrawal, Persian officers trying to extract their units intact, falling back to their fortified camp. But the Spartans don't let them disengage. They stay on them, pressing, killing anyone who slows down. The retreat becomes a rout. Units fragment. Soldiers drop weapons and run. The Persian camp, a massive fortified square with wooden walls, should be a refuge. But the Persians abandoned their siege equipment, and they didn't expect to need to defend walls against heavy infantry. The Spartans reach the walls minutes behind the fleeing Persians, and this is where the battle should end. You don't assault fortifications against prepared defenders. You surround them and wait for surrender. The Spartans assault. They have no ladders, no siege equipment. They just start climbing the wooden walls using shields to protect themselves from arrows, pulling themselves up by hand. The first ones up are cut down. The second wave uses the bodies as stepping stones. The third wave makes it over. Inside the camp, it stops being a battle. It becomes slaughter. The killing inside the Persian camp lasts for hours. Persian soldiers throw down weapons, raise hands in surrender, and die anyway. Servants flee toward Thebes and are hunted down. Officers try to organize resistance and are overwhelmed by Spartans, who fight like they're settling personal accounts. The Athenians arrive late. They were engaged with Persian allies on the other side of the field. They find the Spartans in the Persian camp, methodically clearing it section by section. An Athenian commander later writes that his men attempted to restrain the Spartans and were troubled by what they witnessed. By afternoon, it's over. 31,000 Persians dead, maybe 3,000 Greeks. The mathematics of this are important. A 10-to-1 kill ratio in a battle where the Persians should have had every advantage. This isn't just military victory. This is annihilation. This is revenge so thorough, it frightens even the winners. The Spartan casualties are concentrated among the first ranks, the men who took the brunt of the arrow volleys and the initial clash. Their bodies are recovered with care, cleaned, prepared for heroes' funerals. The Persian dead are left where they fell. Within days, the crows and dogs arrive. Within weeks, the summer heat reduces them to bones and leather. Pausanias orders Mardonius's body found. They strip it, parade it through camp, then send it to Aegina, a city Persia had burned years earlier, where it's crucified and displayed. Eye for eye, king's body for king's body. The immediate aftermath is celebration and horror mixed together. The Persian threat to Greece is finished. Their army is destroyed, their fleet crippled, their will to invade broken. Within months, the Greek cities that surrendered to Persia are switching sides again to none, claiming they were always secretly loyal. But Plataea reveals something about Sparta that cannot be unrevealed, the city that prides itself on discipline, on fighting with mechanical efficiency, on subordinating emotion to tactics. That city just spent 4 hours in an orgy of revenge killing. The Athenians tell stories about what they saw, stories that spread through Greece like poison. Spartans laughing while they killed. Spartans refusing mercy to begging prisoners. Spartans turning a military necessity into something darker. And Sparta can't deny it, can't explain it away, because deep down, they needed it. Needed to prove they hadn't failed at Thermopylae. Needed to erase the shame of arriving late, doing too little, letting their king die alone. The 31,000 Persian dead aren't just casualties of war. They're a blood payment for 300 Spartans and one king's desecrated corpse. Pausanias becomes a hero, then a liability. He's given command of the Greek fleet to pursue the war into Persia's territory. Within a year, he's recalled for acting like a Persian tyrant, demanding prostrations, wearing Persian clothes, making private deals with Persian nobles. He's tried for treason, acquitted, then caught actually negotiating with Persia to betray Greece in exchange for power. He dies barricaded inside a temple, starving to death because the Spartans won't let him leave, but won't kill him on sacred ground. The victory at Plataea doesn't bring Greek unity. Within 30 years, Athens and Sparta are at war with each other. The Peloponnesian War lasts 27 years and destroys both of them. Everything they saved from Persia, they spend destroying each other. Return to that morning, the light revealing 10,000 Spartans standing among 31,000 Persian dead. We understand now what that scene meant. Not just military victory, not even revenge, though revenge was certainly part of it. Something more complicated. The moment when the most disciplined warriors in the ancient world discovered that discipline has limits, that some debts can only be paid in blood, that you can't separate the need for victory from the need for vindication. The Spartans proved at Plataea that they could commit everything, risk everything, win everything, and it destroyed them almost as thoroughly as defeat would have. Because here's the paradox Plataea reveals. The same qualities that make you strong in one context make you weak in another. Spartan discipline made them unbeatable in battle. But Spartan rigidity, their inability to adapt, to innovate, to imagine alternatives, left them trapped in a military culture that eventually devoured itself. The Helot slaves they armed at Plataea started demanding freedom. The walls that kept enemies out also kept Spartans in. The honor that drove them to revenge at Plataea became the pride that wouldn't accept any challenge to their supremacy. Within a century, Sparta is a regional power. Within 2 centuries, an irrelevant curiosity. Within 5 centuries, a tourist attraction where Romans come to watch staged fights and imagine ancient glories. The battlefield at Plataea is farmland now. The Persian fort dissolved into soil centuries ago. But dig deep enough in certain places, and you still find them. Bronze spear points, iron sword fragments, the occasional bone. The physical remnants of the day Sparta proved it could win, and in that proof, revealed why it would ultimately lose. Because revenge is like fire. It can light your way. It can warm you through the coldest night. But if you hold on to it too long, it just burns you from the inside out. Thank you for wandering through time with me tonight. If these whispers from the past brought you something worth carrying forward, consider leaving a like. It helps others find these stories. Subscribe to join us again, where history stops whispering and starts screaming its truths. Until next time, sleep well, but remember,